you know how I said in my previous videos that I wouldn't be surprised if the Minnesota assassin was a Christian nationalist, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had ties with the Heritage Foundation? Yeah, take a look at this.
So a very good friend of mine stumbled upon this article. This is some sick, twisted real-life version of Handmaid's Tale. This is not fake news, not a conspiracy. This is very real, and we need to be fully aware of what's happening behind the scenes. Pause to read.
If you pay close attention to this article in this area here, it's saying that this Reformation, whatever the hell it's called, was founded in 1970. In fact, a lot of these Christian nationalist organizations were formed in the 70s. Since the article is rather long, I'm going to go ahead and drop the full article in my link tree. Link tree is in my bio. I decided to do some further digging to see if this New Apostolic Reformation, whatever the hell they're called, had ties to the Heritage Foundation. Because remember, I said I had a feeling that this guy had ties to the Heritage Foundation. I wouldn't be surprised if it was later found out if he did. So I decided to go to ChatGPT, and this is what I found out. Pause to read. I decided to take a deeper dive into this, and I just wanted my memory to be refreshed. I asked once again when the Mandate for Leadership Handbook was created. It was published in January of 1981 by the Heritage Foundation. It was actually written somewhere in the late 70s, I believe 78, 79. This is the book that was handed to Ronald Reagan, the book he swore on, etc.
Critical, everyone. I mean, here it is. We're listening to Nicole's story. You know, if it's not breaking your heart, you have to be scratching your head because you want to say, yeah, I thought the United States of America was land of the free. Well, you're hearing it tonight. So, Nicole, I mean, tell the audience basically what their goals are really. I know you told us about what they made you do and how they start you off with as a child, what they want to implement, you know, or I would say brainwash at this point. But what are their goals that they really try to get their flock to understand?
That the only way to go to heaven is to follow the right Christians. And if they aren't right Christians, they don't care. They want to, and I'm going to say this in a bad way, they want to exterminate them. I was told that anyone who stood up against the right Christian movement was to be taken down with any cost. It did not matter. They weren't a human. They were a demon possessed. Wow. And so I do have a daughter. She is from that cult. She lives with me. She has no contact with that one. And I was told when she and I left, and this came out after I got my divorce, I had to actually flee to a completely different area to get a divorce. They want to do what's called covenant marriage, which means only the husband decides if you can get divorced. Females have no say if you get divorced or not. No restraining orders, nothing like that. That my daughter was hell-bound because I chose to leave the true path of God, and that I wasn't building the white Christian nation of America. We were always told it would be a white Christian nation, and that would be the time that Jesus came back. And when Trump got elected and was talking the first time, we were told he was the second coming of Jesus Christ, and we needed to push our message farther and faster to make sure America was a white nation of God and under God.
You mentioned that
Now
you get a mail-in ballot voting process. Do they make the other females in that cult do that mainly to keep an eye on who it is that they're voting for?
Yeah, so if you manage to make it before you are 18 without getting married, again, the church decides you, like my father's was pretty high up, and Mike Johnson actually is an architect behind 2025. I have met him, and if you notice, he never says he adopted his son. He just calls him his son. So his son, who is not white, actually was never adopted because that's frowned upon in the church. And so what they do is they tell you if you can't do a mail-in ballot in that state, you have to wait till there's 2 voting booths next to each other so you can whisper to the person next to you who you're voting for, and they can look over without it being cheating.
Wow.
If there's like a pull behind, they just slip the ballot through the curtains and the other person fills it out and you sign it. The females have no say. I mean, you were basically...
what state is this?
I know it has happened in Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Montana.
Really?
We were told, like, we'd get on, and Mormons do it where everyone gets on like a big Zoom, and you have a conference, and we're told from day one how to vote. That's why they make churching places, polling places in states where they don't think they're going to be able to monitor the vote as well. They have people from the church volunteer to do the polls at the church.
Oh, crap.
Wow, this is serious, y'all. I mean, we're getting this straight. I mean, we're getting this straight. Somebody that has experienced the beginning of Project 2025 and where Project 2025 really wants to go. I am blown away to hear this and that it is happening in the United States of America. And there's nothing the FBI or any law enforcement are doing about it. I hate to say it, there's a possibility they may be part of it. Is that true, Nicole?
Yeah, so from the time the boys are about 10 to 12, because school is not as important, you get your GED. That's why they want to get rid of the Department of Education, is to focus on Christian homeschool. The boys are taught how to infiltrate and overtake positions in these government agencies from city level all the way through to federal level to make sure that when it is time, and they have stated in Project 2025 the go sentence, to overthrow. And that's why they have these training centers now popping up. They're not hiding them anymore. So between the election and inauguration day, those training centers, and I spoke to one of my sisters who is trying to escape now, she said they already have a map of where they're going to send everyone who's gone through alert the boys have. If they are alerts, basically like a military academy that is run by Christian nationalists who are very heavy gun fanatics, to position around blue areas. So in Oregon, that would be like the Portland all the way down I-5 corridor from Portland, Astoria, Salem, and all that, to be ready to just step in and destroy it prior to there being any chance to rise up. We were told, don't let them rise.
So now you're talking about them forming armies with the young people as they, I hate to say, but brainwash them to let them know that they're the only ones with white America that are the true Americans, and that anybody else with people of color, what have you, are demons.
It's not just that. So one of the Alert Academy classes is police and EMS. So when they graduate, instead of keeping them in the red areas, they'll send a group of 15 to 20 to go into a blue area that doesn't have a lot of police, so they can all get onto the same force. So they're already ready. They know where all these places are. where weapons are kept, etc. They're not even slowly infiltrating anymore. They're pumping out as many people as they can and filling all of these vacant spots. They're basically popping them into areas to be ready for when it happens. They're telling them it's going to happen.
Wow, this is scary. This is really scary because right now you told me they have already mobilized and they are in our communities across this nation. They have established themselves as supposedly community residents, but really are ready to go into action as soon as a Republican wins the presidency. All of this will take place, correct?
Yes, and they're not even going to wait for Inauguration Day. They're going to make sure they know which areas are ready to fight. They'll position the women who are pregnant or can still get pregnant into heavy red areas to be watched by basically their fathers or their younger male siblings who aren't old enough to apply for these positions. So you're going to have, and I'm going to use The Handmaid's Tale because that's the best way, you'll have versions of the aunts watching the pregnant women. If anyone who is pregnant is a single mom, they will put that mom into basically a homeless camp, which is an education center, to take the child from them because a woman can't raise a child. They can give birth and provide the nutrients, but we had the sibling method, so I took care of all my younger siblings because there was no way for my parents to care for all of us. So anyone younger than me, I had as a buddy. And I had to make sure if they were boys, they could tell me, no, I don't want to do that. And I had to listen to them. If they wanted to hit me, they could do that. So they're sending young, usually 16 to 20-year-olds to these areas to infiltrate. So they sent a bunch of 16-year-olds. So now they're ready to vote in the blue areas for red people. So it's going to be interesting.
So in this instance,
those are a few video clips from the December 11th, 2023 episode of Our Community Knew with Tom Jones. To see the full episode, all you have to do is go to the link tree in my bio. It's at the top, Our Community Knew with Tom Jones. Just click on that, Click on that and you'll get to the episode. I know a lot of us are scared. It's okay to be scared. But don't allow that to cause you to bury your head in the sand and pretend like none of this is happening. Because doing that isn't going to make it go away. Superman and Batman do not exist. Nobody is coming to save us. I understand that attention spans, they're short. People tend to forget things like interviews that happen, let's say the day after the debate. Kevin D. Roberts, president of Heritage Foundation, decided to come out and brag about what their plans were and was so confident that they were going to win. Gee, I wonder why. Elon Musk. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I am going to play a video clip of that interview to refresh your memory. So that way you understand that this isn't a conspiracy theory. It's not a drill. This is, in fact, very, very real. They have been planning this for decades. This isn't something that was just tossed together within a matter of a couple of years. This isn't brand new. They've been planning this shit since the 1970s. The 1970s, y'all.
Let me speak about the radical left. You and I have both been parts of faculties and faculty senates and understand that the left has taken over our institutions. The reason that they are apoplectic right now, the reason that so many anchors on MSNBC, for example, are losing their minds daily is because our side is winning. And so I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
This is not an isolated incident, okay? I find it deeply disturbing that not one member of law enforcement chose to do any type of investigation on these Christian nationalist organizations. Not one. I don't recall. I mean, maybe there were. If there were, please let me know. Put it in the comments. But as far as I know, I have not seen not one investigation, not one. And like I said, this has been planned. This has been in the making. Project 2025 has been in the making since the 1970s. And not one investigation? I mean, does anybody remember David Koresh and the Branch Davidians and how, I mean, yeah, the FBI botched it up or whatever, but they still took him down, right? Same thing with, what's the other one? That dude, Jim Jones? I mean, so they just allowed these Christian nationalists to run wild and do all this crap all these years and do all this freaking planning, and not one person knew about it? Not one? That's disturbing as fuck to me. But then again, refer back to the video clip that I shared. According, to our friend Nicole, there are Christian nationalists in law enforcement. They're serving in law enforcement. So they were probably able to cover that shit up. Yep. And not one of them was looked at in a different way. Not one of them was side-eyed by anybody. It's disturbing. It's diabolical as fuck. It's disturbing. I can't wrap my head around it. Now that they nabbed one guy, Governor Tim Walz, if you're listening, have your prosecutors make him talk. Make him talk. Make him give names. Tell everything he knows. We can't allow this to continue. I mean, really, it's time to fight back. No Kings was a damn good start. And we must keep this momentum going. Okay? That's the only way we're going to win this shit. It's always been us versus them. But a lot of us just didn't want to see it. Not until now. No King showed us that there is power in numbers. A lot of people seem to think that we're headed towards a dictatorship. I thought that too, until some very good friends of mine told me, no, we're not headed towards. We're already here. And guess what? They're right. What gives me hope is that we are fighting back. Even though they said don't let them rise, we are rising up. We've been rising up. And we're not going to stop until this regime is gone.